Walk me through a past data science project or workstream. Hi everyone, we're here today with Tuan for another Exponent data science mock interview. Thanks so much for being here with us today, Tuan. Can you quickly introduce yourself for our viewers?
No problem. I'm Wei Chen. I'm an expert data scientist at House. I'm doing A/B testing for experimentation and dashboard building for business intelligence for better product and growth strategy for my company. So that's basically what I do.
Okay, fantastic. So before we get started, be sure to click the link in the description to check out Exponent's data science interview course. Ace your interview with a library of data science interview questions, in-depth mock interviews on coding and system design, and a peer-to-peer mock interview tool to practice yourself. All right, so our question today is, walk me through a past data science project or work stream.
No problem. So let me share my experience building up analytics support for email marketing at my company. So at the time, because we want to optimize our marketing channels cost, so we decide to invest more on email marketing as it's relatively cheap in terms of our cost. And I was the dedicated data scientist in email marketing. So what I need to do is I need to build analytics support from scratch because we've been doing email marketing for a long time, but we haven't looked into it seriously. So what I do is I sit down with product manager and also marketing team to discuss their expectation and also position for this channel. And we discuss a little bit about what data we have, and then we finalize some metrics so I can turn into reporting and also dashboard. And from there, I can work with data engineer to check the data quality and the pipeline building. And then once we are having good data quality, and I can proceed to build a dashboard using Tableau with SQL. And using the dashboard, I can add some parameter like the weekly view, monthly view, and some of the filter so the business team can see some of the detail and adjust the view using the dashboard. So we can have some self-report servers for them. And the reason I prioritize the reporting because I want the team to know where we are right now. And through the process, when I build out a red dashboard, I can know a bit like what email we are sending to our customer, what metric the team care, and we can take over from there and proceed what else we can improve. Does that sounds good so far?
Yeah, so I'm curious, in those reports and the dashboards that you built, like what kind of metrics were you logging?
No problem. So we put our email marketing into a little bit like funnel. So we send the email, and some of the email user might open the email and they might click the link in the email. And because we are an e-commerce site, after they click the link to our website, we want them to purchase. So overall, we are like from send to open, we have open rate. From open to click, we have click-through rate, and then from click to purchase, we have conversion rate. So overall, we are taking as a funnel, and these are the high-level metrics we are calculating.
Okay, perfect. And how did you then work with those metrics afterwards?
No problem. So after I have built out the dashboard, we have like different category of each email we are sending to our customer with the metrics. And from there, I do some behavior analysis. Take one of the email as an example is shopping cart reminder. If customer add an item to the shopping cart, but they didn't check out, and we are sending an email reminding them, oh, you have something in your shopping cart, maybe you forgot it, and do you want to check out or something? So that's our shopping cart reminder email. And I do the analysis realizing some of the customer who check out using the email, they don't necessarily check out the product they put in their shopping cart, but the product in the same category. So I realizing maybe the product they put in their shopping cart is not the most ideal product they are looking for. So I recommend to the team saying, oh, we can add a recommendation list below of similar product, saying, oh, you have something in your shopping cart, but here are some similar product you might be interested in. And using this way, we can do A/B testing, sending half of the customer old email and half of the customer new email, trying to do A/B testing to see which version is doing better, I'm taking this case to show the marketing team to understand what kind of analytics support I can do and what's the benefit of doing A/B testing. So using this way, we actually can see like the new version of the email with a recommendation list. The conversion rate is actually better, and the team can understand A/B testing is really beneficial for email marketing. And then we can set out the framework and also the workflow to iterate different ideas together.
Okay. And can you actually tell me a little bit more about the initial A/B test that you set up? Like, what were your hypotheses? What was the experimental setup? And did you run any statistical tests, like, on the results of the A/B test?
So as I mentioned, like during my analysis, I found users don't necessarily buy in the product they put in their shopping cart, but most of the time, product in the same category. So that's the first insight I found. So I looked into some other e-commerce site and realizing they're adding this recommendation list. So my hypothesis is that adding this recommendation list and can actually put more incentive for user to explore other options, and also having like more call to action in the email for them. So the hypothesis at the moment is adding this recommendation list can increase the conversion rate. And then we use the rule of thumb, like setting up like alpha as 0.05, statistical power as 80%, and check with the marketing team saying, oh, for example, some minimum detectable effect they are expecting, for example, 3% of improvement or 5% of improvement. So I can calculate what's the necessary sample size for the email. And by the weekly volume we are sending out, I can calculate, for example, we need to run 3 weeks for this experiment, and what's the estimated impact for the campaign, and also some of the expected estimated improvement vector. So using this way, I can communicate with the marketing team to see, oh, this is something I need, and how long does it need to be running, and what's the expectation of this A/B test, so the team can understand how we can work with each other.
So the expectation of the A/B test, I assume you're trying to increase a metric of some sort. What metric were you trying to increase?
Yes, so the metrics I'm trying to improve is the conversion rate. So the minimum detectable effect is also based on the conversion rate.
Okay, so conversion rate as in like the number of people who click through on the email or the number of people who actually buy items in the shopping cart?
Yes, let me clarify. So because the item is already in the shopping cart, so the conversion rate is like from shopping cart to checkout conversion rate.
Okay, great. Yeah, so then I guess the idea would be that like even if the original items in the shopping cart weren't ideal, they would add something to the shopping cart from the recommendation list instead, right?
Yes, there's some kind of like guardrail metrics that we are looking to, like item add to the shopping cart, and also like their click-through rate of the email. But the key metrics, we still take the conversion rate from shopping cart to checkout.
Okay. Sorry, do you mind clarifying what those guardrail metrics are again?
Yes, so like the average item every per user added to the shopping cart, because by the recommendation list, we also want them to add more items to their shopping cart, and also the
Okay.
click-through rate of the email.
Okay, yeah, so you don't want it to actually cause them to open the emails less often, right? Is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, great. So then what were like the hypotheses of this A/B test? And then did you run like a statistical test on the results?
Yeah, so the hypothesis is that adding the recommendation list, we will see and like minimum detectable effect of 5% improvement to the conversion rate. And
Okay.
the statistical test I'm using is the t-test, because our assumption is that the conversion rate distribution will be normalized distribution. So that is like, this is our hypothesis. And also because all the email we send out, we are not sure if all of the user will open the email. So we don't know the like standard deviation and also average of the population. So it's kind of like sampling. So we are using this t-test to do the testing.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Um, all right, so after you did all of that, Were there any like deadlines or like cooperation with another team that like requirements on that part that you needed to also meet?
So the key part is that because the team is more keen to know like what the metric is doing right now, like they want to know the reporting. So during my dashboard building, I actually like I write down the SQL query first so that the team can use the SQL query to get like weekly report first before I build a dashboard, because I still need some time to tune the dashboard like visualization and also the display. So I just write query and ad hoc, providing 2 weeks of the report to the team so they can study the report first. And meanwhile, I'll build up the dashboard for self-servers.
Mhm. Okay, sounds good. And why did you end up deciding to bring A/B testing to the project?
hmm So what I choose is because like outside of email marketing, our organization already have this data culture leveraging A/B testing in our product development. And what I understand the marketing team's past practice, they've been like revamping email campaigns, either the title and also the design and also their landing page, etc. So they've been revamping like based on their intuition and their understanding of the customer, but they are not sure by iterating different of revamp if they are doing really better or something. So I feel like using this A/B testing, there are better and also less biased data to prove that if this email is doing really better or something. And we like for me, I also add some attribution like new user versus old user, different device like iOS versus Android, different email
Mhm.
user interface, etc. So using this way, we actually can understand some of the email A/B testing we do. We see overall metric is actually neutral, but actually it improve the new users conversion rate. And using this way, we can actually understand different sets of combination of the revamp are actually improving the metrics for a specific part of the user. And this is
Mhm.
much better than we are not doing A/B testing and we just based on the overall metrics pre-post analysis to
Mhm.
do the changes and also revamp based on the intuition. So I believe this A/B testing is a better and more systematic, less biased methodology.
Cool. Yeah, it definitely seems far more rigorous and data driven. And I like that you were able to acquire a bunch of other insights about the data, like the more specific user segments from these tests. So I'm curious, were there any other action items that this entire process inspired?
So as I mentioned, some of the attribution I mentioned, one of it
Yeah.
is that we are trying to have a more decision tree process to let us understand, like from overall, if the metrics is improving or is there like spatially beneficial for certain part of the user that we can improve, etc. Using this way, we can have a more clear understanding how we can improve email further. And from our target audience is increasing and also user base is increasing, we're trying to do like because the A/B testing we are running is based on the frequencies theory. So we are separating user into 50%, 50%. But some of the time, the email we are sending out is maybe millions of email, and we believe certain version of it is doing better. So we are trying to separate the traffic into like 25% versus 75%, because we believe the 75% version is we actually have more confidence in it, and also is doing we believe it's a better version. But based on the frequencies theory, there is this way is a less like confidence practice. So we are trying to use Bayesian statistic instead, and using this way we can have a prior belief of certain metrics, and also we can set up like split traffic not in a non-equivalent way, and using this way we can like win a little bit more in terms of the performance on each of the tests, and we can kind of like training our understanding of our user based on this like or understanding of user using the Bayesian statistics and meanwhile splitting the user traffic in different ratio.
Okay, yeah, so that's really cool that you're able to basically, by using a Bayesian technique instead, you can acquire insights about the traffic without needing a 50-50 split, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. So using this
Okay,
way, we can like split user into 25% and 75% and don't need to worry if the test result will still be like statistical
right.
significant, and we can make decision based on like confidence interval.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. All right, so thank you so much for telling us about that experience. I think this is a great place to pause. So I'd love to hear your analysis of this interview. If you were the interviewer, what do you think went well, and what do you think you would want to do differently?
So one thing I just realized is that I forgot to bring the result into the explanation. I only mentioned I set up the framework and also the workflow, but I forgot to take a few examples
Yeah,
saying how much metrics I mentioned. I quantify the result a little bit, and
right. Yeah.
um, in terms of the like the frequencies and Bayesian part, I'm not sure if I'm giving enough context about like why Bayesian is better than frequencies in terms of this scenario, and uh, like using Bayesian cumulatively if it's really doing better, etc. And what's the result if we are trying this new methodology, and what's the follow up or next step in terms of it. So I feel like uh, the answer can be more complete in terms of the context if I add more details. So I think that's something I can improve further.
Yeah, I wanted to hear more about the results actually. So can you tell us now a little bit more about it? Like, what were the results of the A/B test, and then how did it affect the feature afterwards, and so on?
No problem. So, like after setting up the framework and also the A/B test flow, we actually successfully to run over 10 A/B tests each quarter, and we using
Mhm.
this way we actually see like email marketing contributed sales in 30% increase quarter over quarter for 2 quarters in a row. So the contribution from email marketing was like 3%, and we increased to 7% after 2 quarters. So we really take this as a win, and we share this best practice to a bigger team saying, oh, this is something we try in email marketing, and we try frequencies and also Bayesian. We see different methodology. So I can bring this kind of like texturing to bigger data science team and also product team to see if we can put this practice into other area as well.
Mhm. Yeah, and I like that you were able to then include some of the more like quantitative results. I feel like in an actual interview, you want to be able to impress your interviewer with the actual numbers of like how much you improve the product, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely really helpful. But
Yeah.
yeah, I also actually really liked that when we talked about some of the statistics of the A/B test, you justified your choice for the statistical test, and you explained also the product rationale behind each of the hypotheses that you were proposing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in general, I feel it's really helpful to structure your answer in terms of like, okay, here's a hypothesis, here's how we came to this hypothesis, which you did a really great job of. You explained like, oh, I looked at all of these metrics, and based off of what was happening in the metrics, I realized that, okay, maybe people aren't actually buying what's in their shopping cart because it's not like exactly what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're able to explain the actual test and then some of the follow up like action items and insights. And so I thought that that was structured quite well. Yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, I try to sometimes still include part of like technical detail, but still I feel like business acumen is really important for data scientists because we
Right.
work on the
Yeah.
product side and we work with business team a lot. So not just about the technical part, you need to be really clear about what you're doing. Sometimes you also
Mhm.
need to include some of the qualitative research and also the understanding of business and also competitor to put your insight into more action item for team to turn into a real action initiative. I feel like that's something I want to emphasize.
Right. Yeah, I think that's totally true. And I like how you demonstrated that in this interview because you mentioned that, this product team had been trying different like emails, but they hadn't had a very good like rigorous or data-driven insights into how those emails are actually performing. So that's what motivated you to actually do all of this analysis. And evidently it helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I really feel
yeah.
like some of the company are pursuing running a lot of A/B testing, like thousands or 10,000s of A/B testing at the same time. I feel like every A/B testing there is something you can learn. That's why I also add some attribution. We can keep customizing and based on the learning of each A/B testing, and we can actually tailor a better personalization for different group. I think that's something I also want to achieve as well.
Yeah, when you have that many users, it can be super helpful to just like drill down into each of the user groups and clearly like develop a better customized product. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much for being here today, Wei Chun. And thanks everybody for watching. If you have any upcoming interviews, good luck. Bye everyone.